Welcome to another game stream. Tonight, taking a look at Alien, Fate of the Nostromo from Ravensburger Games. This one I introduced on Saturday, briefly chatted about. The game stats listed on the back say that it's a 10 and up game for 1 to 5 players with a playtime of 45 to 60 minutes. So should be perfectly manageable to do in this stream tonight. It's a cooperative game where you play as the Nostromo crew against a xenomorph and try to accomplish the missions that are laid out without being killed off. So, unlike a lot of the other games, though, that we've been doing lately, this one has no additional rules for a single player configuration. So, solo play plays just like if you were doing 5 players. The only difference is a smaller number of cards for certain aspects of the board setup. So we will talk about that when we do the setup in just a second. But in some ways that kind of makes it more realistic in terms of how it compares to the movie, because, well, at the end of Alien, it was pretty much Ripley by herself going around the ship trying to prep the escape shuttle and get out of there. And that's kind of what the solo mode on the board game is, where it's just you running around trying to do all the work yourself, working on completing however many tasks are laid out before you. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. This game is actually fairly easy to learn, fairly easy to play, but potentially very difficult to win. It's got a nicely small rule book with only about 7 or 8 pages this time, instead of a gargantuan novel like found in some of those other games that I showed off in Saturday's stream. First thing we come to in the box after the rules is our Jonesy adorned game board. So opening this up gives us the interior view of the Nostromo, the space tug from the original Alien movie. So you'll recognize some of the locations here if you're an Alien fan in any capacity, or have seen the movie. Like, you've got the cryo hypersleep chamber, the galley, this is Mother, the flight deck, and so on and so forth. So this is actually 2 levels of the ship. You can navigate between the upper and lower levels. And for me in particular, this game is great because there are no dice involved. And any of you who've watched this stream ever know that Dice and I, we just don't get along. So in this game, I don't have to worry about it. So there are 5 characters you can choose from. Makes sense for a 1 to 5 player game, right? And those 5 are recognizable to anybody who's a fan of the movie, with the commander, Dallas, Lambert, who I don't really know what she did on the ship, navigator or something maybe, Brett and Parker, who were the deckhands, and Ripley, the flight officer, obviously. So in a solo game, you're still only going to pick one character. So I failed to see any reason why I would not pick Ripley for this playthrough. I don't think there's any other logical choice, but some of you may feel differently. But for my purposes, we're going to be choosing Ripley. So then you've got final mission cards. So there are 5 final missions, and you're going to randomly select one for each game. So every playthrough, well, every 5 playthroughs, you'll have different missions. Don't trust anyone with a knife. Who's got a knife? I am not going to be using Ash for this playthrough. I see what you did there, Tim. I'm not going to be using Ash for this playthrough because he's an extra level of difficulty and I just don't want to deal with that. I'd like to win a game for once, so we're going to try to do that tonight. Alright, so the other components we have here are encounter cards. There's an encounter phase after every player turn because, well, you know, the alien is going to be skulking around the ship. So shuffle up this encounter deck and start it off over here. We've got several objectives leading up to our final mission, and this is where the setup differs for solo play. Hey Slinky, how's it going? This is where setup's going to differ for solo play or the number of or specifically based on the number of players that you have going in this game. So the setup for the mission cards, normally you would put one objective for every player plus one additional objective, but for solo play you're going to put where did I see that? I think I'm going to put 2 extra cards for objectives for solo play. I just read these, but I don't remember where that was, so. But anyway, you deal out a couple of random objectives from this deck, and those go up here, or because of how we're doing this setup, we'll just go ahead and put those over here so I can actually read them. So you have to complete all of the objectives on your way to complete the final objective. And the final objective remains hidden until such a time as you complete those first 2. Okay, I was wrong. It wasn't the objective cards. So what I read about solo play was that we have to remove one of the final missions that doesn't work well for solo play, which is this one here. Cut off every bulkhead and every vent. That's really difficult to do as a solo player. So that one has to be taken out of consideration before I deal out one of the other final missions. So there's my final mission. Not the one that isn't applicable for solo play. Got to get my Ripley miniature. So here she is. Little Ellen Ripley action going on. Your characters always start in the galley. So drop her in place there. We've got to start the morale track with the morale marker, which is a beautiful portrait of a xenomorph. Again, 4 to 5 players, you're going to start at the full morale track. 1 to 3 players, you'll start partway down the morale track. So that's one of the loss conditions, is morale reaching 0. Because canonically it means you just give up and wait for the inevitable to happen. Which is awfully cheery, but it is the Alien universe, so he's gonna, okay, close enough. Okay, so a couple other things that we've got going on here. We've got the Nostromo's self-destruct mechanism. Some of your final objectives, final missions, may include the self-destruct, and that's another fail condition, is the self-destruct countdown reaching 0 before you complete your final objectives. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. Then we've got inventory items. There are various items that can be built. That's what most of the game's going to involve, is collecting scrap from around the ship, using it to build various types of resources, and then using those resources to complete objectives. So there are several different kinds here. There's a flashlight, a motion tracker, a cat carrier, cattle prod, coolant canisters, and a grapple gun. And each of them actually have uses in-game as actual inventory items as well, other than just being used to fulfill objectives. They can reduce the amount of morale loss taken by encounters with the aliens, or they can make it easier to survive an encounter with an alien by pushing them away, or even potentially stunning them, like in the case of the incinerator, which is one I forgot to mention. But things like that are also limited use, so generally you'll only get like 2 uses out of each of the disposable items, and then you'll have to build another one. So have to keep that in mind throughout play. And lastly, the last few token types that we have here are encounter tiles and scrap. So the encounter tiles are the game's jump scare, and scrap go scattered around the ship to be collected and used for other objectives throughout the game. One last piece that's probably somewhat important is we should place our xenomorph, who starts here in the nest area. So it may seem counterintuitive, but the xenomorph doesn't kill you in this game. There really are only the two loss conditions here. The first being that morale hits 0, which I guess could be construed as xenomorph killing you off, or I just said what the other condition was, and now I forgot it again. So if the morale track hits 0, the self-destruct mechanism. If the morale track hits 0 or the self-destruct mechanism countdown hits 0, then those are the end state fail conditions of the game. There's no fail condition that is based on the xenomorph killing you off. In fact, encounters with the xenomorph only result in the morale track going down and your character being forced to move away. So it also ends your turn, like it's an immediate end of turn state to run into the alien. So the last bits of setup are placing coolant containers. So coolant containers go in the workshop, garage, maintenance bay, equipment storage, mother, and hypersleep. So mother, hypersleep, maintenance bay, workshop, equipment storage, and the garage. So each of those gets coolant containers. Then we place a little bit of scrap to start out, and the concealed tokens. So concealed tokens, every place there's a passageway is going to get a concealed token. So garage, workshop, and maintenance bay to start out. I guess it's not every place that has an access hatch. We'll be adding more of these concealed tokens as we play, based on directions on the encounter cards. So we want to make sure not to flip those over and accidentally see what's what. And then for scrap, do we place any scrap to start? Place 2 scrap in the garage, mother, med bay, and maintenance bay. So 2 scrap in mother, 2 scrap in the garage, 2 scrap in the med bay, and 2 scrap in the maintenance bay. Alright, that's pretty much it. All set up, all ready to play. Like I said, there's no dice in this game. Instead, you do alternating between character actions and encounters. Well, the game ends when you complete the final mission, so we're just going to have to assume that the alien didn't make it aboard the escape pod, canonically, in the game universe. Because, yeah, no power loader. Jonesy is here, but we'll have to find him as we go. So let's get this show on the road and see what we can do. Essentially, like I said, you're going to be doing alternating between character turns and encounters. So Ripley gets 4 actions per turn. Each character is going to have a different number of actions that they can perform on their turn. Ripley has 4. and that's always denoted up here in the corner. And then she's also got a special ability, which every character has. Hers is to spend an action to move a different crew member by 1 space. So, an ability that does nothing for me in a solo player game. What prequels and sequels? I thought Aliens only consisted of Alien and Aliens, right? Everything else is alternate universe, non-canonical addendum stuff, right? I mean, why would they do something stupid like Alien 3 and 4 and especially Prometheus and Covenant? Romulus looks pretty good though. Yeah, all that Prometheus stuff just didn't happen. AVP was fun just because it wasn't a lore thing, it was just monsters on the run. Could have focused less on the human characters, and could have been a little better lit. It was probably the hardest movie to see I've ever watched, but at least we got it. It wasn't as good as the Dark Horse comics, but it was something. So, yeah, no, just the 3 Star Wars movies, just the 3 Indiana Jones movies. Yeah, we're not even gonna, I mean, Shia LaBeouf as Indy's son, I don't accept that, no. But, anyway, if only. They're still trying to do it though, still trying to hammer out the memories of our youth. So, with all these other new movies coming out that capitalize on the nostalgia factor. Which is funny because all of us that are nostalgic for them don't want to see remakes and new material in the same universe because it never works out well. So I don't really know who they're catering to. I mean, I guess the Ghostbusters, the 2 new ones, were pretty decent. So, I'll give them that. Anyway, you're going to be doing however many actions are stated on your character card every turn. Actions involve things like move, so each space you move is 1 action. Using an item is an action. Picking up, putting down is an action. So, like picking up a coolant canister would be 1 action. Putting it down someplace else would be another action. And picking up scrap is an action, but it's unlimited. You can pick up as much scrap as you want all at the same time. It only counts as 1 action. And crafting an item and using an item are both actions. So you have 4 actions to do on any given turn. So no, AVP and Requiem are fine because they don't touch on alien mythos at all. The alien movies are far off in the far-flung future, and I don't know. I consider them alternate universe because otherwise, why was there no record of aliens out there? Although, there could have been records of AVP in that far-off future, and that's where Weyland-Yutani first learned about the xenomorphs, and that's why they knew what was out there and had the Nostromo land to investigate that anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Lore and canon are funny like that. You can pretty much take and leave what you want, regardless of what the creator or the people in charge say, because the only canon that really matters is your head canon. Alright, so the 2 objectives we've got to start out with that we're working toward are, this first one shouldn't have landed on this ball. So bring a grapple gun to the garage. And this one, what's the damage? All crew members assemble in the workshop. Well, that one's going to be pretty easy to do, seeing as we only have one crew member. The workshop, though, is all the way over here. I don't know why we've got so much glare tonight. See if I can fix that a little bit. That's a little better. Yeah, that's better. Sorry about the glare. We'll try it this way instead. Alright, so starting out, I can either move to start collecting scrap to build the grapple gun. You have your little cheat cards here. These are your list of actions and also your crafting conditions. So the grapple gun requires 3 scrap for me to build. I can go around and start collecting those 3 scrap and try to build the grapple gun. Both these objectives should be easy enough, so let's go ahead and start with that one. So I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces with my 4 actions, and then draw an encounter card. Encounter cards look like this, and they're made up of a couple of different pieces of information. Up there in the top left corner is alien movement, so this encounter says to move the alien 1 space. Up in the upper right corner is how much morale we would lose if the alien runs into one of my crew. The bottom bit is what we have to do to satisfy this encounter card, which means place 3 scrap and 1 conceal token in the garage. We already have 1 conceal token in the garage, and you can't have more than 1, so I'm just going to place the 3 scrap, move my alien 1 space, and that's it for that turn. And then right back to me. So 1 action, I'll pick up 2 scrap. 2, 3, 4. Encounter. So it's a pretty quick paced game once you start going. This one, move the alien 1 space, put 2 scrap and 1 encounter token in the equipment storage. So move the alien, take 2 scrap, and equipment storage already has an encounter, so there's nothing else to do there. Notice that equipment storage has the green arrow here, and there's another green arrow in the suit storage. So those 2 points are connected by a ladder, and then the other ladder is here in the maintenance bay, and it connects up here to the docking bay. So there's 2 ways to transit between the levels of the ship, and both characters and the alien can take advantage of either of them. So back to my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Encounter card. Okay, this one is Order 937, Crew Expendable. The active crew member loses all scrap tokens. Shuffle all Order 937 encounter cards back into the deck. If Ash is on the ship, he's not. So there you go. I lost the scrap that I was already carrying. Shuffle that card back into the deck. And back to my turn. So 1, 2, pick up this scrap is 3, 4, encounter. This one, alien lost the signal. Return the alien to the nest. Place a concealed token in each room where no crew members or concealed tokens are present. In each room. Wow. Shuffle all alien encounter cards back into the deck. So everything that's a named room gets, oh, those are scrap. Everything that's a named room that doesn't already have a concealed token in it gets one now, which dramatically increases my chances of running into the xenomorph as we go. Alright, so now I've got a lot of encounters that I'm going to have to deal with, but we shall see. Alright, so my turn, 1, 2, 3, pick up scrap. So that's my 4 encounter card. Move the alien 1 space, and add 2 scrap and an encounter to the docking bay. I forgot to shuffle the cards back in. Well, we'll do that right now. Move the alien 1 space, add 2 scrap to the docking bay. Oh, yeah, one other thing we've got to do now that we've entered equipment storage here, and I forgot to do here. So before I enter equipment storage, there was a concealed token here in suit storage, so I have to flip that one. You see this is the hidden side, and then this is the revealed side. So nothing there, so I don't have to worry about that encounter token. But then I moved into equipment storage, which also had an encounter token. Here's the hidden side, and hey, nothing there either. So no xenomorphs that I ran into. Alright, so I revealed that docking bay card. That's my encounter turn. Now back to my turn. I'll spend 1 action crafting the grapple gun. And I have to take that grapple gun to the garage, which is here. But that would mean I'm going to have to head toward the alien to get to the garage. So, not something I really want to do. Instead, I'll go back up the ladder, 1, 2, 3, make my way to the red ladder, and hopefully avoid the alien. Encounter, move the alien 1 space, add 2 scrap and 1 encounter to the galley. Already have an encounter in the galley, so move the alien 1 space. The alien's always going to move toward the closest crew member. So because I'm the only crew member in this game, that means he's just going to stalk me the entire playthrough. So that really kind of puts me in a bad position. I don't really have a way to get to the garage. I can use the grapple gun. Using the grapple gun as an item allows you to move the xenomorph 3 spaces away from you. So I can do that if I have an action left to do it. But even so, it's going to corner me in the garage. So could be a touchy situation. But let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4. We can also take care of that, bring all of the crew members to the workshop objective, because workshop's right here. Oh crap, I forgot. Again, here's the encounter from the docking bay. Hidden side, revealed side. Whoops. Ran into a xenomorph in the docking bay. So that means the xenomorph instantly goes there, and I move 3 spaces away, and I lose 1 morale. And my turn ends immediately if you encounter a xenomorph from an encounter token. So, encounter card. Move the alien 1 space, add 3 scrap and an encounter card to the garage. So alien moves 1 space and is now officially chasing me. My turn. 1, 2, 3. At least now he's not down in this corridor, so I can actually potentially get to the garage. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count. Encounter card. Move the alien 3 spaces. And this one has stalk on it, so use caution when navigating an M-class starfreighter. Dark passages can hide can hide obstacles and hazards. Well, good to know. So 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3 for the xenomorph. 4 actions for me. 1, 2. Got an encounter token in here, so we go from hidden to revealed. And this time we've revealed Jonesy. Jonesy, when you find him on an encounter token, he hisses at you and runs away, and him hissing results in losing 1 morale. If I had a cat carrier, if I'd crafted a cat carrier, then I would have been able to capture him at that point. But I have not, so I lose a morale and Jonesy runs away. That was my second action on that turn. Objective cards are going to state whether you have to drop an item in a room or just bring the item with you. So this objective doesn't say anything other than bring a grapple gun. So I did bring a grapple gun to the garage. That one is therefore completed. So for my third action, I'll pick up all of the scrap here. And for my fourth action, I'll try to move over toward the workshop to complete that second objective. Encounter phase. Move the alien 1 space, add 1 scrap to the bridge. Alien moves 1 space, 1 scrap to the bridge. Character turn again, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That objective just says to assemble all the crew in the workshop. And Ripley is all the crew, so I guess that satisfies that objective. Which means we can unveil the final objective. Alright, this final objective is you have my sympathies. So the setup for the objective is to place all discarded coolant containers into equipment storage, which we don't have any. Place Ash at Mother. Ash moves toward crew members when he moves. So we didn't play Ash, but this objective, final mission objective, brings him into the game. So, alright, so the objective is defeat Ash by dealing 3 damage to him. Whenever Ash encounters a crew member, that crew member must discard a coolant canister to deal 1 damage to Ash and move him 3 spaces of their choice. Otherwise, you lose 3 morale and flee 3 spaces. When Ash is defeated, remove Ash from the ship. So, the victory condition, use an incinerator on the alien after Ash has been defeated. Alright, so that was my fourth action. Move on to the encounter phase. So move the alien 2 spaces. Should an officer expire during... yeah, that's flavor text, so it really doesn't matter. 1, 2 spaces. Alright, so for this final objective, I'm going to need coolant canisters, so I'll use one action to pick up a coolant canister. I also need an incinerator, so incinerators cost 4 scrap to build. So I'll use one action to build an incinerator. And now I will start trying to move up. No alien on that encounter, so safe in that room for now. But, oh crap, now I'm within 1 space of the xenomorph. So this encounter, I have a feeling, is going to send me running. Oh, nope. Active crew member loses all scrap tokens. And if Ash is on the ship, move him 2 spaces toward the nearest crew member. Shuffle the card back in. So I'm glad I used that scrap to build the incinerator on my previous turn, because I just lost all the scrap I had thanks to that encounter. Alright. 4 actions, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to go face off with Ash. Encounter. Each crew loses 1 scrap. I don't have any scrap. If Ash is in the ship, move him 2 spaces. Okay, so remember that whenever Ash encounters a crew member, that crew member must discard a coolant canister to deal 1 damage to Ash. Move Ash 3 spaces of their choice. So, similar rules to the xenomorph. When the xenomorph encounters a crew member, regardless of how many move actions he's got from that encounter card, he stops. So Ash would have stopped here. I can discard 1 coolant canister to deal 1 damage to Ash, and move Ash 3 spaces. Alright, and now it's my turn again. So I need to get another coolant canister. You can only carry 1 at a time. So 1, 2, oops, 1. Nothing from that encounter token, so I'm safe. 2, 3, and 4 to pick up another coolant canister. And an encounter. Move an alien 1 space, 2 scrap into the airlock, and 1 encounter. So alien moves 1 space, 2 scrap in the airlock. Airlock's already got an encounter, so nothing else to do there. Back to my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Encounter. Move the alien 1 space, add 2 scrap and an encounter to mother. 1. Add 2 scrap and an encounter to mother. Oh, you know what? I have to double check. I think Ash actually moves 1 space. So it doesn't really say anything other than he uses the shortest distance between him and a... Yeah, I guess he only moves when directed by an encounter, which is lucky for me, which means he just kind of stalks. Alright, so did I do the encounter? Or was Mother last turn? I lost track. Oh, yeah, I guess I already did because the stuff's there on... No, that might have... I don't know, we'll do another encounter. Move the xenomorph 2 spaces. 1, 2. Alright, well, that's putting him very close to me now. My turn, so 1, 2, discard a canister to do another damage to Ash, move him 3 spaces. 3, 4 to get another canister. Oh, there's an encounter. This time I found a xenomorph. And he's doing 3 morale damage. The xenomorph moves here. 1, 2, 3. And instead of picking up that canister, now I have to run away. So that's not cool. I'll run like this. 1, 2, 3. So at least I can pick up that canister on my next turn. And I am done with that turn because encounters immediately end a turn. And also, when you run into an alien based on an encounter tile, you don't draw an encounter card that turn. So you don't have to do 2 encounters in a row. So my turn, I will pick up this coolant container. 2, 3, 4. Alien's going to move 1 space and add 2 scrap to the med bay. Alright. 1, discard to damage Ash. So that defeats him. And now the victory condition, I have to use an incinerator on the alien after Ash has been defeated. So that was 3, 4. Encounter, move the alien 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So because that was based on the encounter card, this time I lose 3 morale from running into him. So 1, 2, 3. And now I have to run 3 spaces away. Oh wait, can the incinerator... Well, I could have used it already, because whatever. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that was that encounter. The incinerator on its use says if the alien is within 3 spaces, use the incinerator to send it to its nest. If you do, don't draw an encounter card this turn. So that was the encounter. On my turn, I'll use 1 action to move. I'm within 3 spaces, so I'll use the incinerator on the alien to send him here. And that is the victory condition. So for the first time in a while, I actually get to win a board game. And that's it. Easy enough. It's not, like I said, it's not terribly complicated. It's an easy game to learn and an easy game to play. And it's also not ridiculously expensive. I honestly think it's easier in solo because in multiplayer, you've got more characters moving around the board, more chances to run into the alien. This is true, but I don't know, broiled lobster, probably not a terrible smell. You think the alien's lobsterish? Yeah, I don't know. That acid blood's gotta add a unique dimension to the odor. But yeah. If this is true. Spiders apparently taste like crab, right? So but yeah, in a multiplayer game, you've got more characters moving around, more chances to run into the xenomorph, and that means more damage being done to the morale track. I think that more players actually results in a more difficult game. In solo mode, it was relatively easy to stay away from the xenomorph, and Red Lobster went out of business. Shows how much I pay attention. I would give this game like a 7 for multiplayer, maybe a 6 for single player. It was pretty easy. I mean, it's really fast paced, and like I said, the learning curve is a lot lower than some other games. One other benefit this game has is it's a lot cheaper than some of the heftier games that I was showing off on Saturday. In fact, I picked this one up from Target. Target does all sorts of the like buy one get one half off sales on board games, so I'm pretty sure I picked this one up during one of those. And yeah, it's pretty fun, and just a good way to kill a little time if you're an Alien fan and want to get in a little bit of Alien feel. But that's it for the night. We'll stick with the movie theme, and on Sunday we will take a look at The Thing. I promise to actually have learned the game by then, and then next week we'll... Oh wait, which order were we doing it in? I guess we'll do Borderlands on Saturday, and then The Thing can be next week's game. Not sure if it'll be Tuesday or Sunday. We'll figure it out. I have to double check what the playtime on it is, but that's it for tonight. If you guys have any questions or want to know anything else about the fate of the Nostromo game, you all know how to get a hold of me. But if not, then thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you all on Sunday. It's fine. I have plenty of time in there for, things, but yeah. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. You guys all have a good night, and I will talk to you all later.